And we are live on a special edition of the K&K Sports Show, New York Knicks Show. I am with my co-host from the K&K Sports Show, co-host of the New York Giant Football Talk, and co-host of everything, Mr. Kenneth Kirkpatrick, live from Maryland. What's going on, Kenny? We're going to talk a little Knicks tonight, baby. Let's go.
We're gonna talk Knicks tonight, but I gotta commend and applaud you for an amazing Broncos show on your end of the teams that we follow, and your Bronco talk show last night with James Merrill at 104.3 The Fan. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. A lot of Russell Wilson talk, but a lot of debating, and it was a fun, action-packed show that you had. And James was an amazing guest. So
Yeah, he
definitely want
was
to
awesome.
thank him
Thank you.
about you.
Yeah, thank you, James. Again, listen, love to have him on anytime. I mean, it was like Jen watched it today, and Jen's like, it's like you and him are together, like being the same person. So, yeah, it was awesome with James. Thank you, Kenny. Thank everybody. It was a great show, man. It was great. It was awesome, and I was fired up with that. And I think I'm going to get fired up tonight because, listen, my love for the Broncos, but my love is just as strong for the Knicks. So I'm ready to roll, baby. Let's go.
I'm ready to roll too, and I love. I love the Denver, our good friends over in Denver, the Denver Bronco Roundup guys. Love you, but you all adopt me as as a Bronco fan, and we would welcome you guys as Giant fans, but it's not the same. And we both follow and love the Knicks with passion, and it's the only team out of all the major sports that we like together. So it
Isn't
makes
that
it fun.
funny?
It makes it fun. We have a blast with it. We've been struggling a long time. And we get excited when there's some news. And we've been wanting to do this for a little bit now, a few days now, but we finally found the time. And we got a fun little show for you packed tonight. And I'm ready to get right into it, Kurt, if you are. And we're going to start. We're going to start with the big trade that was announced. And I call it a big trade because, in my opinion, it was. A lot of Knicks fans not happy. Traded R.J. Barrett, our number 3 pick a couple of years ago, and we traded Emmanuel Quickly, sixth man, backup point guard, for OG Anunoby, Malachi Flynn, and Precious. Malachi staying on the bench right now. Precious is getting a few minutes, but OG Anunoby has been the main guy in this trade, Kurt. And in my opinion, I want to get your thoughts on it, but in my opinion, the Knicks did what they needed to do. Did I want to see Emmanuel Quickly gone? No. But it had to be done. You weren't bringing him back next year as your backup point guard, paying him $30 million, close to $30 million. It wasn't going to happen. They got a good package here for OG Anunoby. Defense got tremendously better. The guy can shoot threes. He's a little of both, in my opinion, there. A little bit of Barrett and a little bit of Quickly. So love your thoughts on the trade, Kurt, and what was your reaction when we made this trade?
You know what? I was doing something. I saw a text and it said clams. Me and Jen were at the table and Joey Clam said reaction to the trade, Knicks trade. And I said, Knicks trade. Well, so I went right to Twitter and I said, Jen, look at this deal that happened. But just like you said, this is, I think, a deal they had to make. I am not a fan of losing Quickly either. Listen, I liked Barrett too, but I think the team peaked on where they would go, the way they were the way they were made, right? Like we had Milwaukee a couple of times. I know they beat them on Christmas, but we lost to them a couple of times with Milwaukee. We lost with Boston, and we just couldn't deal with it. OG is a guy the Knicks front office has wanted for years. He is a perfect fit for this team, a perfect fit for a Tom Thibodeau lineup. You watched him last night, Kenny. The guy's all over the court, right? He covers 1 through 5. I saw him cover three different guys. He was closing out on 2 guys. He's just a phenomenal defensive player. He's a better 3-point shooter than RJ. He's a great corner 3 guy. So, hey, he's going to be right now our number 3 offensive guy. But we're not done. We'll talk about it. But I love the trade. Listen, it hurts losing those 2 guys. They're homegrown Knicks, and especially Quickly. But listen, when you have Brunson, you can't pay Quickly $30 million to come off the bench. You can't do it.
And you know what? For the Raptors too. They get RJ Barrett, gets to go back to his home country, Canada.
Yep.
Played in the Olympics for the Canadian team, and they get quickly
Could start.
who wants to be a starter, and they can re-sign him next year and have their point guard now for years to come.
Yep.
So it's a home run. It's a very good deal for the Raptors too. So I think both ends ended up with this. And you know what, Kurt? 2-0. 2-0 since the trade. And that first win was against the top Western team, Minnesota Timberwolves.
Yep.
And then with the Bulls last night. So, I think there's more things to come too, and I'm excited as a Knicks fan once again. So we will get into some of this, and we'll get into some of the players. But the first two I want to bring up is the play of Julius Randle and Jalen Brunson, Kurt. I feel they're starting to gel together. Every night they play, Kurt, I feel like you're going to see a 30-point game from at least one, maybe if not both of them, close to 30 points. And they're learning how to play very well together. They're playing. I'm seeing Julius go to the hole. Julius is playing on a different level, and we know we got an emergent star and not an emergent star. We have a star in our point guard for the next 5 to 7 years easily in Jalen Brunson, and couldn't be more excited about that. But your thoughts on these two, Kurt?
Just again, I'm gonna hold my thoughts on it. It's sad to say, but I'm gonna hold my thoughts with Randall until May and June, because he's been tremendous in the regular season, Kenny, but in the postseasons he's flopped twice. And that's what, listen, I would be the biggest hypocrite if I'm going to say he's this and that. And I'm the biggest one that always says in all sports, it's what you do in the postseason. And he hasn't delivered so far in New York in the postseason. Doesn't mean that can't change, but he's running out of time. There's our good friend Jody Moncrief saying, does he play D, meaning Randall? Not great. But again, that's where I think, OG is going to help. OG is going to help out everybody on us. But you know what, Kenny, right now, it's hard to argue this 1-2 combination of Listen, Brunson's an absolute star, man. I'm going to be honest. I don't know what other point guard I would take over him. I'm dead serious, especially in the East. I'm sorry. Who you want to, I'm riding with Brunson. He's clutch. You saw what happened in the postseason. He could handle New York. But this 1-2 punch, Kenny, again, I would love to get another guy to be our number 1 or number 2. And we're going to get into that later and then say to Randall, hey, you're truly our number 3. But as for now, until that move is made, I think regular season, we can hack it with this combination is 1-2. Postseason's another thing now.
That's very fair point, because like you said, Randall has not been anywhere near average in the playoffs. And you know what? I take average or slightly above average in the playoffs, and we beat the Heat if we get that from Randall. So we need better play from him for sure. And he does play some D, Jody, as Kurt was saying, but I would definitely want to see more in the playoffs, like you said. But let's go over the rest of our roster right now. We'll do our starting lineup. We talked about OG, what we're going to get. Now we talked about our two number 1 and number 2 guys there. But a guy who moved into the starting rotation after the trade, Kurt, Mr. Dante DiVincenzo. What are your thoughts on him? Is he in our starting lineup if we keep this roster the way it is, or does Grimes come back? What's going to be the deal with Dante?
Real quick, a good friend, Denver Bronco Roundup, and Jody's Denver Bronco Roundup also, but Trevor Salzman. What realistic trade for a star do you see the Knicks being able to trade for? We'll get to that in a couple minutes, right, Kenny? We're going to hold off on that for. We get
we got some good ones. We got some good ones there, Trevor.
You know what? Dante DiVincenzo has been an unbelievable pickup by Leon Rose and crew, right? Basically it was like we got rid of Obi Toppin, got some money off the books, and we picked up DiVincenzo. And it's it's not a one-on-one trade, but when you look for the one-to-one, I mean, he gives us shooting, which we had nothing in the postseason. He gives us better defense than Obi. So I love him in the starting lineup, Kenny. I'm going to be honest. I like, he could play anywhere. He could play, he could be our 6th man, our 7th man. He could be our starter. I like it that Grimes gets lost in the starting lineup, if that makes any sense, right? DiVincenzo, though, hey, he gets out there and he could flat out shoot the rock. And now with, Randall and Brunson, and teams have to double him, and hey, stay in your corner, and OG stay in your corner. I love it. I like him in the starting lineup. I do. I like him. He's a ballsy player, man. He'll take those big shots. He'll D up. And I just think Grimes better off the bench. I think he just fits in better. He's more aggressive off the bench.
It makes a lot of sense, Kurt. I didn't think of it that way, but Grimes was a little lost in that starting lineup, and let him come off the bench. We know if Tibbs needs to make a change, he'll switch it again, but keep it the way it is right now with Grimes being the scoring option on the second team. I like that. I like that a lot, and very, very good points on Dante. The next guy I want to bring up, Kurt, he's become my favorite, and that's Isaiah Hartenstein. Man, look at him now. That's what you see from him every game. You saw it. He's in the starting lineup now because of the unfortunate injury to Mitch. But even before that injury, Kurt, I told you I want this guy in the fourth period, fourth period, I should say, in a close game because Mitch can't hit a free throw. I'm not saying this guy's 90% free throws, but 70% I'm going to take over Mitch shooting 30%. And he plays defense. When he's in the hole, when he's on the court, you are not going to the hole without getting, tough defense on you from this guy. Last night's game, Kurt, 10 points, 20 rebounds. Enough said. This guy needs to be extended, and I want to see this guy on our Knicks team for a few years. He can also shoot threes. When he was with the Clippers, I learned he was shooting threes. I didn't know that. You don't hear much from the Clippers up our neck of the woods. He can shoot threes. Let him shoot a couple, let him what I'm trying to say is set up a couple plays for Mitch. Has no plays set for him. Set up a couple plays for Hartenstein. Gives you another option, a number 4 option on the offense
passer.
now.
Also a great passer. Great passer.
If you're gonna get fouled, you're gonna get fouled hard from this guy. Reminds me of Anthony Mason. I know it's a different position, but Anthony Mason type mentality, hustle. Love the guy, plays defense, rebounds. Can't say enough good things about Isaiah Hartenstein. Kurt, give me your thoughts on this guy.
I'll tell you this: our good friend Alan Hahn said straight up today, he's gonna get paid because he's a free agent. And we're gonna have a question because we can't afford two $15 million centers. So
no,
it's gonna.
But I want this guy. I'll take this guy. This guy's coming back for me over Mitch.
Jody's asking, do the Knicks need a true backup big? I'll ask you that in a second. Let me just get to this point. Yeah, this guy's showing now he can be an NBA starter. And we all knew he was obviously a great role player with the Clippers, with the Knicks last year. But you just everyone was saying we had to make a big trade to get the center, and so Hartenstein stays on the bench, but Kenny, he's shown this guy could play, man. This guy could play these minutes. 20 rebounds last night. I love him. I love his energy. He's got to control the fouls though now. Like that's a little different, right? Like when you're in that reserve role, it's hey, go out, play. Hey, if I get in foul trouble, I'm only going to play 20, 25 minutes. Now you're not going to play 20, 25 minutes. You might be like over 30 in Tibbs' system. So that's going to change for him. But just like you said, it's refreshing to be able to like, hey, we could actually like run something for our center offensively. I don't have to worry about, oh my God, don't get the rebound and get fouled. He's going to hit free throws. I like it, Kenny. I like it.
Yeah, I'm liking it too, Kurt. I'm loving it, I should say. Let's move on, Kurt. We're going to talk about a couple more players here, and it's our bench. Our bench went down a little bit. You lose quickly, 6th man of the year. You can't, it's hard to replace. So our bench is led by Josh Hart, Quentin Grimes, like we just said. He's our scoring option now on offense. And then you got 2 more defensive guys. You got Deuce McBride and Precious Achiuwa, another package came in the package deal for Barrett and Quickly. So what we're getting out of Josh Hart is hustle, defense. McBride, you come in for 10 minutes, defense. Achiuwa, defense. And Grimes, your number 1 option. I don't know if that's enough of offense from the guys, Kurt. So kind of has me concerned a little bit. I would like to see a little more offense out of this group. Maybe, not taking anything away from Deuce, who was just extended 3 years, 13 million, but he's a good 5 to 10 minute guy to give your point guard a rest, but you still need another scoring option on here. And I don't see it, Kurt. So I'm a little concerned about the bench and would like your thoughts about it.
Yeah, I want to get back to Trevor's comment. He's saying Hartenstein got his passing ability from Jokic. LOL. He played for the Nuggets a few seasons back. Jody's saying, I would love to see Evan Fournier play. Listen, he could be right with that. I don't know if Tibbs is going to do it because, I don't know. Just Tibbs has something, I guess, with Fournier. It's the defensive thing, right? There's Eddie Murphy, our good friend. Let's go Devils. Sorry, wrong sport. LOL. But this is where it quickly hurts, right? That instant offense, Grimes he's more aggressive, but he's still not that kind of guy, right? McBride's more of a defensive guard, which I like, but
I
we
don't
can't
have a
expect
problem with it, but
you can't say, okay, go put 15 a game. That's not his game. Game.
And if you don't have Brunson for a game, if he's resting or if he's out for a game,
right.
or if Brunson's in foul trouble, you're finding yourself a little trouble with McBride.
Right. It's why we do it. That's where we have to replace quickly, and we're going to get to some names. And I think that's something they're going to look to do because especially in a postseason, right? You're getting a 7-game series against Boston, Milwaukee, Miami, any of these teams, Cleveland. I mean, are you going to war with Deuce McBride in a 7-game series?
No.
I don't know. I can't. Well, just like you're saying, injury or foul trouble. Now, okay, go play 34 minutes, 38 minutes. McBride. I mean, I don't know. I can't do that. I think they'll be able to get that. There's a lot of guys like quickly, like in the NBA. There's a lot of guys that are like that. Jordan Clarkson. I know we're going to bring up people like that, but hey, bring them off the bench, score. Okay, now we'll take them out, go back and score. So, no, we're going to miss that with quickly. And I agree with you. I love the defensive portion of it. I mean, Grimes is the standout defender. Hart, we know what kind he does. Deuce McBride's is. And again, Achua is going to give us whatever he's going to give us. I want that just one flat out, hey, go ahead, go create, go put the ball, sixth man kind of offensive scoring. Jody's saying Evan can be that guy. Do you think he can be that guy?
I would hope he would be that guy, Jody, but I'm not getting any hopes that he is going to be that guy with Tibbs because we just made a trade and he's still sitting on the bench, not getting any minutes. I don't get it. He's a shooter. I get he doesn't play defense, but he's a shooter. So I'm not saying he's got to play every game, but if you're down with your first team and you need a spark, you try and bring this guy in for a few minutes on the second team and you see if he can hit a 3 or 2. I mean, right. I don't get it, Jody. I think he could be that guy too, which makes, we're going to get this into a couple minutes, which makes me believe the Knicks have another move or two in them.
Yeah, I think they do too. Eddie's saying, I don't know who the source is, but I read that the Knicks big move may be trading Randall. I did see that too. But yeah, one guy again, is this bench a decent, okay, pretty good bench? Yeah. Last year we had one of the best, if not one of the, I would probably say we were a top 3 bench in the NBA, so again, that's, let me ask you this though, Kenny, we get that star, right? To be the 2 guard. Now DiVincenzo comes down into this bench. Now you're talking, right?
Yes.
Like that's the thing. Do we get somebody that says, okay, we are going to get somebody that starts at the 2. DiVincenzo now comes to this bench. There's your scoring. There's
100%.
From last year. So, it's either DiVincenzo stays and we got to get somebody, or we get somebody and DiVincenzo comes back to the bench. Jody's asking, is Zach LaVine the next big move, Kenny?
I'm going to say no, but that's going to segue right into our next segment, Kurt. And our next segment is who could be next. And I'm going to jump ahead and give you an option at point guard. Alex Caruso, Kurt. Do you think? I know it's not the big move that Jody's asking about. We're going to get into the big moves, but Alex Caruso, Kurt, we just talked about needing a point guard upgrade over Deuce. Could this be the guy in a package deal, maybe with somebody coming over or just by himself?
I like him a lot, and I think Tibbs would absolutely love him. I mean, tell me he's not a New York Knick, right? Like that's our Knick, that's our backup point guard, right? He can handle the ball, he can be able. Now he's not going to score, right? So again, we're going to get back. Is he kind of? Here's the question: is he like a Deuce McBride? He's probably a little better, right? A little more mature player, was in bigger games, but I would have no problem signing him. I mean, defensive player in the Garden would absolutely love him. He would fit right in, but he's kind of in the mold of Deuce McBride. You know, do you feel, or does he go to the 2 and does DiVincenzo now come off the bench and there's your score? Like that's what you got to kind of weigh. But I wouldn't have a problem. Eddie Murphy, Cavs said they aren't moving Mitchell, but anything can happen in the NBA coming weeks. Big, that's huge, right? Everyone talks like that, right? We're not trading this, we're not trading that, and then all of a sudden there he is trading them. So,
because you know why, Kurt and Eddie, if I'm the GM of the Cavs, yeah, we're trading Donovan Mitchell. You're not going to get a team's best offer if you openly say you're going to give up Donovan Mitchell. Now you get teams that are going to call about Donovan Mitchell, say, hey, what's it going to take? Now, you don't want to give up Donovan, but what's it going to take? So what would have been 2 first rounds may turn into 3 first rounds now because they're openly saying, oh, we're not going to trade Donovan Mitchell. But if the offer is right, they will. So that's a smart move by GMs and a tactic they use quite often. So I wouldn't read too much into that. Mitchell may be getting moved. I don't know if he will or won't, but there's a good chance I think he may be on the move this trade deadline or off season. A guy I was thinking of, Kurt, to pair up in a package with Caruso. They got Vuce over there, but he's more of an offensive guy. And with Hartenstein playing the way he is, why do you need to Hartenstein out of the starting role?
Kenny, real quick, there's
Andre Drummond.
Kenny, real quick, Trevor Caruso is a great defensive guard, but he doesn't bring enough scoring. That's what I was saying. Like that Deuce McBride, an older Deuce McBride, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
true.
That's the thing. I would like him, but he's not going to give us that punch. Trevor's right.
This is not my first.
But after this trade, are you upset that RJ kept them from getting Mitchell the first time? Eddie, I keep hearing so many different stories that it was RJ. The other one was Grimes. The other one was, all these 6-round picks. I just didn't think at all that Danny Ainge wanted to give us Donovan Mitchell. It's the Boston Celtic, Danny Ainge, Knick thing, the New York tax. He didn't want to put Donovan Mitchell where he really wanted to go. So, I don't really put all faith in all that stuff because I didn't really think he wanted to send us to New York unless New York was going to really overpay. Eddie then saying, and RJ gets traded a year later. Anyway, Mark Calderio, hey, let's go Knicks and Michigan. Big game for him Monday night. Jody saying Jimmy Butler with a question mark. Drummond, again, you know what's weird, Kenny? I like a lot of these Bulls. I really do. I'm not giving a number 1 pick for Andre Drummond, but hey, some kind of in a package deal, Caruso and a Drummond for something. I could go there because he gives us rebounding, right? He's not going to give us any shooting, right? I mean, you talk about Mitch is a bad shooter. This guy might be worse, but he has a little inside game, right? He'll post up and he's a tremendous rebounder. So again, I don't think Tibbs is going to say, I don't want a guy like this because this is a Tibbs guy. So yeah, I could see it. Absolutely.
And you know what? To answer Eddie's question about RJ, if we get Donovan Mitchell, Eddie, I'm definitely not upset because it's going to be less than what Utah asked for, a lot less. Utah just wasn't going to trade him, and if we wanted him, it's going to cost you. So there's no way we're going to give up that many picks.
He had too much. He didn't want to deal with the Knicks, and he didn't want to put Donovan Mitchell where he really wanted to be. Unless it was going to be a crazy deal. And you know what? Hey, hats off to Leon Rose for that, for saying, you know what? I'm not going to, we're not going to do that. Eddie's going back saying Butler's hairstyles would fit perfect in New York. LOL. Problem with Drummond, as I've seen on the Nets, he can be very lazy. See, that's not good with Tibbs, because that's not going to work with Tibbs. Keith Brugman, our good friend, Denver Bronco Roundup. The Knicks should just go get AD and call it a championship. Meaning, I guess he's saying Anthony
Davis. What I don't like about Anthony Davis, though, you don't know if he's going to play. Like all the Knicks, you see them play. Anthony Davis is sitting out every other game, every third game. That to me is a problem that I have in the NBA as a whole, Keith. I definitely see it with Anthony Davis, and that could be a problem. But Anthony Davis, when he's on the court, absolutely I would take him. If you can tell me he's going to play.
Here's a good one from Jody. If we got Mitchell, there's Mark. If we get Mitchell, we get to the finals, no problem. Kenny, we're right there, man. We are right there. We are right there. Jody's asking, if we got Mitchell, who's your number one scorer? Brunson or Mitchell?
It's Mitchell. Let Brunson be more the point guard, but he's the option too.
But I'll tell you this, I wouldn't mind the ball in Brunson's hand, man. Let me ask you something. Who's more clutch than give me three guys in the NBA right now that's more clutch than him and when the game's on the line, especially in the postseason. Remember, 2 years ago in Dallas, he blew up. And last year with the Knicks, he was one of the best players in the NBA playoffs last year. So
postseason, I'll say Jimmy Butler.
Okay. I mean, Murray, maybe Jokic, Murray, one of those guys from Denver.
LeBron, maybe, and Doncic.
I mean, I don't see Jody saying Murray. Okay, I'll say right. He's definitely like top 5, top 6. But is there three better than him? A couple other comments. Trevor saying AD's health is an issue, just like you said. Eddie's saying Anthony Edwards. I don't believe that because, does he even get to the postseason, Anthony Edwards? So I'm not going there. Nets got fined $100,000 for what they did the other day. Starters playing only first quarter. Keith, who is going to the Knicks championship parade? I think it could be a reality. Keith, I told you, I am going.
We're going to pay for you and all the Bronco Roundups guys to come to New York to join us at the parade when it happens.
Kenny, I don't care how many vacation days I need to take off. I am staying a week in New York City if that happens. For all the heartache, for everything that, when I look in my life as a sports fan and I look and people go and say, oh my God, you must be crazy. You're a Bronco fan. Are you serious? I've seen what? How many Super Bowls did I see? 3? I saw 4, 5. I saw 7 Super Bowls and 3 Super Bowl titles, right? With this Knicks team, oh my God, the Bulls, the Heat. Listen, I loved it, but I want one title with the Knicks. So if they get there, listen, I'm at the parade. I'm there a friggin' week. I'm not leaving that place. No way.
I'm with you. With you. So yeah, that's a great. The Bulls can definitely be a trade partner for the Knicks if we go smaller deal. In the smaller deals, this is my number one option. I'm going to put on the screen for point guard. And if Jenny Hoops is watching, she's gonna be very excited about this guy possibly coming to the Knicks. Malcolm Brogdon. For those who don't know, Jen went to the University of Virginia, and Malcolm Brogdon was their guy at the University of Virginia. But he's playing on a team that's going nowhere. They're gonna want to stay young. You can give them Fournier, the expiring contract, and give him a first-round draft pick, a protected first-round draft pick,
or one of those other, like the Milwaukee pick, a Dallas pick, who else they got? The Wizards, like all those other picks that could, eventually be first-round picks.
They get off of his contract, and they move on to being younger, and and if they can do it the right way out in Portland, they can become the Oklahoma City Thunder in a couple of years, and have a nice young nucleus and build from the start. But I think he's going to get moved at the deadline, and what better spot than the Knicks? Give you a little offense off the bench, a little backup point guard, shooting guard, whatever you want from him.
An unbelievable defensive player. Again, another Tibbs guy would fit right in. Again, a way way better Deuce McBride. Maybe you know what? There's your Fournier with a pick and Deuce McBride goes and, hey, there's your young player going to Portland, and we take Brogdon. Listen, Brogdon, imagine a backcourt of Brogdon and Josh Hart coming off your bench. I mean, come on, man. That's nice. There's Trevor's asking KD or Booker to the Knicks. Listen, I've always been a KD guy. Trevor, you want to watch a show? Go back to what was it, 2019 with the whole free agency when they went to Brooklyn. I was always high on KD, even coming off the Achilles. I'd still take him. But Booker, listen, Booker is one of Leon Rose's guys, right? CAA. And listen, that's the, we're saying Donovan Mitchell and we're talking about DeJounte Murray, but I mean, you put Booker in that 2 spot, man. A Booker, I know it's small, a Booker and Brunson backcourt, but Mark saying
Booker
neither.
can play point if you need, and Booker can play
right,
point
Booker's
guard if you need him to.
Right. You know what? This is what's crazy.
I'm just saying, like if something was to happen to Brunson, and if he had to sit a couple of games, Booker's your point.
You know what? I think this is crazy. Maybe with the age and what we need more, I'm probably going to say I would rather take Booker than KD. If you had to take one or the other, Kenny, who would you go with?
Booker, I'm just not a KD fan. Great player, but I said I didn't want him with the Knicks. I'd rather go the Randall route. And how'd that work out for the Nets? They all bailed. So I do not trust KD. If things aren't going well, I do not trust him. He's another one that'll sit, don't want to play, et cetera, et cetera. So Booker, to me, bring him to New York. I think it would be a great fit.
Keith is asking, if you could give a championship to a past player or coach, who are you giving it to? That's a tough question. You know what? I'm going to answer it. We're
Charles
doing a Knicks
Smith.
show. Yeah, okay. Charles Smith is nowhere near on this wall, by the way, the Knick wall. Here, 93 game. What is it? Game 6 at the Garden. Blocked by Grant. Blocked by Jordan. Dunked the damn ball. Seriously. Powder puff. Whatever. I'm not even going to get into that. Disgusting. We should have won the title that year. But how could you not say John Starks? The heart of that guy in that city. How many times did you see him with the New York pointing, across the chest, pointing the jersey? I mean, he is what made you love the New York Knicks. I mean, the guy came from nowhere, became an all-star, but just the heart and soul of Starks, like the Starks with getting in Jordan's face, getting with Reggie Miller. I mean, it's Starks, man. That team, you know what? That whole 93, 92, 93, 94 team, it's gut-wrenching that team didn't win a title. Ewing, Mason, Starks, Oakley, Doc Rivers, Derek Harper. You could throw Smith in there. It's just, we were so close, man, so close. And, Jordan was in our way, and then Jordan left, and we couldn't get it done versus Houston. I'm going to go Starks. Kenny, what about you?
That would have been my first choice, any of that team, but I'm going to go with Charles Oakley. Would be my guy, because all the hustle, you'd see him diving into the stands to keep a ball alive. The defense that guy played, he was New York to, I know there's some issues going on now with him, but he was what the Knicks in New York, Charles Oakley, you talk Nick, so just by his hustle, there was a ball headed to the stands, he would dive into it, not care, like he was playing, center field for the Yankees. That's how he would dive into the stands for a ball.
Yeah.
And just the hustle and the defense he played, I would bring him a championship, Keith.
Eddie's saying Linsanity, greatest Knick of all time. He's joking. Kenny, my answer is no to this with Jody. Would you be interested in Ben Simmons at all? Absolutely not. You?
No, another headache. Yeah.
Can't shoot.
Send me to the pharmacy because I'm going to need some Excedrin with that migraine.
Oh, you know what? Jody's saying, Pat, we're saying Ewing. I mean, Ewing or Starks. Oh, that's so tough, man. You know what? I think I got to change it and go with I got to go with Ewing, man. He was the captain.
Ewing is the number 1 pick. He's been there for all them years. It's a good one, Jody. I'm just thinking of some other players that deserved it too. Ewing's the obvious one.
Mark's bringing up bad memory, saying Starks 0 for 10 from 3 in that game. Oh, game 7. Oh, my God. Trevor's bringing up a great point, which will never happen because just like Eddie said, he's already in New York and the Nets will never do this. But I mean, I think OG is great, a great fit. But they said, and listen, it finishes your Villanova people, right? Mikal Bridges in New York in that small forward slot. It'll never happen because the Nets are never going to do the Knicks a favor and trade him there. But listen, that's Trevor. That would be the perfect fit. I mean, imagine Brunson back with Hart and DiVincenzo, and I mean, be Villanova again. But I think, you know what? I think the next best thing, or 1A and 1A is OG, and listen, OG and Bridges, they're same kind of player. People don't realize OG is a champion already. He's won a world championship with Toronto. So
That's true. That's a good point.
Uh,
One more that I don't think is going to happen, because we talked about the Jazz, Kurt, and that would be Jordan Clarkson. And
Kenny, there's your number one guy to replace Emmanuel quickly. I mean, that's him right there. That's your guy. I mean, listen, he could put up 38 last night. He could put up 30 every night. Just an unbelievable 6-man award winner a couple times. Just an unbelievable 6-man. Can run the team, run it as a point, play as a 2. Crunch time, you could have him and Brunson in the backcourt. But again, Danny Ainge, he's not going to do the Knicks any favors. So unless we overpay, right? I mean, I'm not giving 2 number 1 picks for Jordan Clarkson to you. I don't know. Maybe I'll give up one of ours and one of the Milwaukee Buck one or something to that effect, and a young player in Deuce McBride. But that's Emmanuel Quickly, an older Emmanuel Quickly. Boom. Keith is saying Ewing leaving it at the rim was heartbreaking for me. I think he's talking about the Pacer series. I believe it was game 6.
I think so.
Game 5 or 6 at the Garden with the finger roll. Bounce back.
Look, Kurt, look at him. Doesn't he fit New York? All the tattoos. Does he look like he belongs in Utah? He's probably walking down the street in Utah. People are probably crossing the street to stay away from him. And he's probably the nicest guy in the world. I mean, I'm looking at his tattoos there. It looks like a very family-oriented guy. He's probably one of the nicest guys in the world, but he just doesn't look like he fits Utah. He looks like a New Yorker.
He would be a great Nick, perfect Nick. Keith saying Jordan Clarkson, just another mistake my Lakers made recently. But listen, I like it. There's Trevor. DeJounte Murray fits the Knicks perfect.
Let's segue right into it, Kurt. But another guy I had with Clarkson would be Kelly Olynyk in a little package deal. But like you said, now you're going to talk. He wants 8 draft picks for Clarkson and Olynyk, because Danny Ainge is delusional. He won't trade with the Knicks. And to me, you can say what you want about Brian Cashman, and I have my doubts on him, but he just made a trade in the offseason with the Red Sox. If you're a GM and the trade fits your team, you don't trade because you don't like the team. You make that trade. So if Leon Rose calls and says, hey, we're going to give you 3 draft picks for Clarkson and Olynyk. No, I want 5. That's you're not going to get a better deal than that for Clarkson and Olynyk. And that's the problem with Danny Ainge. And I, as an owner, I would look at it and say, you can't be a GM because you don't like somebody and not trade them because you don't like somebody. If they got the best deal, you make that trade. And I give Cashman credit for that.
You get the stubbornness. You get that. You get. I'm gonna try to be cute, and it's something like I don't want to. Danny Ainge don't want to be the one that helps the Knicks. I mean, like you're saying, it's your job. Your job as a general manager is to do what's best for your team, not worry about other teams. But you get people like that are just, they can't get over it for some reason. So that's it.
I agree.
Jody saying Ewing in a Magic jersey was so weird seeing. Keith saying Pippen as a Rocket and a Trailblazer and Jordan as a Wizard. Yeah, it's, it is crazy. Listen, you could talk about football, right? Montana is a Niner, Manning as a Bronco, Brady as a Buck. I mean, when you get to it, you're just like,
Favre as a Jet.
Favre as a Viking. Did everybody ever say like, okay, Michael Jordan would ever play another jersey like besides the Bulls? I mean, you never think it's going to happen, but then, stuff. Hey, listen, you almost saw it with Jeter, right? Jeter almost left. It's That's where I give Rivera a lot of
A-Rod
credit.
in a Yankee uniform.
A
Keith and
right,
Jody,
right.
thank you for this. You just gave me a great topic idea for a Wednesday show. I like this.
Atwater as a Jet. I forgot about that one. That was after. That was
I forgot
actually
about that one
after.
too.
That was actually after we won the that second Super Bowl where we beat the Jets in '98. I believe it was at '99 or 2000. He went. But yeah, that
Babe,
was
Babe, Babe Ruth going from the Red Sox to the Yankees way
yeah,
back in the day. It's
yeah.
happened,
You
it's
never think
crazy.
you're going to see it, but now you are going to see it. Like these people that are like, Mahomes is always going to be a Chief. I mean, Burrow's always going to be a Bengal. I don't know, man, because, money comes into play now and so many things come into play. And, it's very hard to tell somebody, listen, like, you're going to retire. Like those guys are, if I'm not playing here, I'm going to go somewhere there. And you get these star players that other teams are going to take as an older player. So you're going to see a lot of it. Carmelo in a Knick uniform. LOL. Just kidding. Oh, hey, I love that. Listen, I'll never forget that night, Kenny, that
It was a
finally the
good night.
news broke. That news, finally the Knicks made that deal. And, again, I would still make that deal 100 times. I know people are going to say, well, you got Murray out of one of those picks and all that stuff, but listen, Melo was still the best player in that trade. I don't care what anybody says. It was the Knicks' fault. The Knicks couldn't surround him and get him more talent. But, Gallinari, Wilson Chandler fell in those other picks. Listen, I'm still taking Melo. I know they had Billups like at the end of his career and stuff like that, but I'm sorry. The trade worked out for both, and trades could work out, but the Knicks, it's not that Melo failed the Knicks. Like the Knicks failed Melo. They just couldn't get around. And Amari failed them with his health. But other than that, you make that trade all the time.
Yep.
So what's your thoughts on Murray, Kenny?
My thoughts on Murray, I like him, Kurt. He's on a cheap contract right
Oh, Kenny,
now.
real quick, I don't want to interrupt you, but the Brown guy saying, "Hi guys, Raptors fan here. I had seen." So Raptor fan, I wonder what his thoughts are on the deal.
Right. I Raptor fan, we were talking earlier on the deal. Love your
I had seen Quickly play on TV.
Yep. And
I'd like to
just
see
saying
his
how
deal.
we think the Raptors got a good deal, just like the Knicks got a good deal, because
Both got a good deal.
you're getting Quickly, who can be a starter for the Raptors next year if they re-sign him, where the Knicks weren't going to, and you're getting a starter in RJ Barrett, and he comes to his home country,
And he's
Canada.
Canadian, right? He's Canadian. Yeah. So listen, he's gonna, listen, you saw his love when he played for the what is it for the sorry, I'm typing on my iPad. No biggie, no biggie. We're here for you. You saw what he did when he played what was the games, not the Olympics, the
I'm gonna pull a picture back up for the Brown guy. I'm gonna pull it back up.
You see what it means. You see what it means for RJ to play for Canada. So now he's, in there. He's in Toronto. So this is a deal that's going to work out for both teams. There's no, we stole him, you stole them. The deal's going to work out for both of us.
And we were just talking about stubbornness. These two teams, I think, will make deals in the future now because this deal is going to work for both teams.
Yep.
They're going to have a nice relationship working with each other, and that's big in sports when you have a relationship with another team that you can go and make a move if you need help somewhere, and if somebody's looking to get rid of a contract and looking for something else, and that's what happened here, in my opinion. Dejounte Murray, you were asking, Kurt. I like him. I like him, but what I would do with Dejounte Murray is I wouldn't bring him over by himself. I want to fill two holes with one deal, and I'm bringing over Clint Capella with him in a backup role to Hartenstein, and I think that would be an improvement on the bench. Hartenstein, we know he could get in foul trouble. He's learning, but he could still get in foul trouble, and you need a backup center. And I don't know if Taj Gibson or Jericho Sims is the answer. So I would do Murray if it was a package deal and I could bring a Clint Capella over with him. What's your thoughts?
Yeah. Yeah, real quick, he's saying, I think this deal will be a good deal for both teams with the exception of OG leaves the Knicks in the summer. If that happens, listen, that's a major – listen, then we failed in this deal if that happens, if we don't keep OG. We can't lose RJ for nothing, like even – You got to sign him. I think they will. I know he was out. I want, 30 million, 40 million, whatever he wants, but he was supposedly said like if he went to New York, he would take less money. And he's CAA now. So he's under like the Leon Rose's son is his agent. So I think they'll take care of him. But if that ever happened, we absolutely, that we botched that deal. But hopefully it's not going to happen. Jody's asking, let's get back to Murray before we get to Jody's. Listen, I like it. I like it. He's not my number. Listen, I'm still a Donovan Mitchell guy, Kenny. You know that. I have always been a Donovan Mitchell guy. So he's my first choice for that 2 spot. But Murray is nice too. And listen, let's put a little heat on Cleveland too. Hey, you don't want Grimes? You want Grimes and a couple of picks? Because if you're not, we're not going to play poker with you for 2 years. Because if not, then we're going to go do this and go get Murray. And then what are you going to do with Mitchell when he don't want to go anywhere? Then what are you going to do? I like this move. Like it's not like we're playing against ourselves. Wait, Cleveland, you want this package? Do you want it? You want Grimes and 2 1s or Grimes, McBride and 2 1s, or we're sending it to Atlanta for Murray? Again, personally, I wouldn't mind Murray. I would want Mitchell as my first choice, but again, as a 1A, hey, I wouldn't mind it. You give me Murray, and now Murray, OG, Brunson, Randall, Hartenstein, and that bench. I'm playing anybody. I'm playing anybody in the NBA, but I could play right now anybody I could play anybody right now in the East. Jody's asking, is Zion the big move?
It might be. And you know me, I wasn't the Zion guy coming out of college. I wanted John Morant. That was, if we had the number 1 pick that year, I wanted Morant over Zion. So I was hoping for us to get pick 2. We all know what happened. We got pick 3. So that being said, I think Zion could be the big move because it's not working in New Orleans, in my opinion. And he gets traded, he's going to be motivated, in my opinion. Now it's going to mean giving up Randall. I do think it's going to mean giving up Randall, but I think it could be the big move, Jody. And he's got so much star power waiting to come out, but it's not going to come out in New Orleans, if that's making any sense, Kurt.
Yeah.
I just think he's bottled up in New Orleans. You got McCollum there. You got Graham. I think he's bottled up there. He comes to New York. He's now the number 1 guy with Brunson. And if Randall's in that package, which I think it would be, he goes back to New Orleans. Good move for Randall. I think he'll be good with New Orleans. Don't want to see Randall go. I'd like to see him get away from that, but I think Randall's on the move. It's going to be for Zion. I don't think it's going to be for anybody else this year. It's not going to be for Karl Anthony Towns. It's not going to be for any of those guys.
I agree.
If Randall's on the move, it's for Zion.
You talk about risk reward and hitting a home run. I mean, Zion, if you get Zion right, and what I mean by Zion right is his weight under control, wanting to be there. And I know, like, we're saying stuff like you're a pro, you were the number 1 pick, you were like the quote unquote next Jordan, or and we have to hope that like you're in shape. I mean, but hey, that's not the Knicks' problem right now. But if you could get him there, Kenny, there's people that flat out say like he's the best player in basketball. Like he's just unstoppable. So that's a risk I'm willing to take. I am. Listen, I don't hate Randall. I mean, till it comes playoff time, then I'm just absolutely lose my mind with him. But I'm sorry. Like sometimes you got to take risks, right? And especially when you haven't won a championship now in 51 years, and when you could potentially get a top 3 player in the NBA if he's right, you got to do it. I mean, I'm not doing it for my war chest of picks. I'm not giving them all 9 picks, and I'm not giving them that. But if I'm giving you a couple picks in Randall, I'm going to try to do it. DBG is saying, again, from Utah, I'm just going to abbreviate because it's a long name, brown guy. I'm just going to say DBG. And he's right with this. And this is something that, listen, you can come at me with this one. Spider to me isn't a winning player, Mitchell. I don't think his playoff pedigree is that good. I can't disagree with that. Totally outclassed by Brunson 2 years ago when without Luka, right? Everybody thought, oh, Utah's going to win that series. No, Dallas and Brunson beat them. Then last year again, Cleveland Knicks, and Brunson upstaged him again. Hey, I don't care about that because we got Brunson, but I can't disagree with him there. There's Mark. Let's do it. Win now. I am getting old. LOL. Listen, we got to win a title. So we got to go get the title. So I'm with them. We got to be all in. We are this close. This close. We've been so bad, Kenny. We've been so, the 90s, I always say this to Jen, like when we were in high school, right? When we were in high school and grammar school and high school, every summer was like Knicks playoffs. And I'm like, this is the rest of my life. This is what it's going to be like. We're a championship contender. And then, after that 99 season and a little in 2000 with Spreewell and Houston in that group, we were terrible, terrible. And we never got back. We're talking 20 years later. So let's do it, man. Mark saying, find that video. I got to do it. I got to find that video. I will. I promise I will. You know the video, right, Kenny?
Oh, yeah.
The mask with the mask.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's do it. Keith's asking, who is your favorite drafted Knick of the last 5 years?
Well, there's not many good ones, Keith, but I'll go first. Manuel Quickley.
Yeah,
Manuel
me too.
Quickley, I thought was a steal. I was like, well, we drafted him. I said, right, man, we got a steal here. The kid from Kentucky.
Yeah.
I thought that was a good one. I know we don't have many in the last 5 years, Keith. So that would be mine.
You got Mitch, right? You got Mitch, RJ, Obi.
Yeah, but I didn't.
Quentin Grimes.
In Obi was a good one. I liked Obi move, but in all due respect, when the lottery came out and we're getting down to 5 and the Knicks aren't picked yet and we're down to 4. And now we're thinking we're going to get number 1 or number 2, and we're going to get either Zion or Ja Morant.
Yeah.
And the Knicks get called number 3. That's why RJ's not up there for me.
Remember
taking anything away from RJ Barrett.
On my Facebook, remember I set up the candles. I had the little prayer station going. Didn't work. Didn't work. And then, let me I'm going to throw this out there, Kenny, okay? And this is for next year. This is for a couple of things. Because some people might say, who? But just hear me out. This is for next year. This could be for a trade possibility. This could be for our backup point guard. Because we have a backup point guard that we have the rights to. The guy's name is Rokas, Jakabitis. And you might say, who? But he plays for Lithuania. And if you watched, I can't think of what they were, not the Olympics, whatever was over the summer last year.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I know.
What is that called? FIBA? I don't know, not FIBA. What the
whatever that's
FIBA
called. World League?
Where you play for the world, right? Like
Brunson and
where RJ played for like Canada and all that. He was listed as like a top 6 player. They beat the US. He outplayed a lot of those American guys. This kid is a stud, man. And we have his rights. And, he hasn't wanted to come over. He's wanted to stay overseas and, he's playing professional there. So that's something, again, whether it's for trade, whether it's for us next year to be our point guard, but we have another legit stashed asset there that, just be wary of that we also have him too.
Interesting. Definitely interesting. All right, Kurt. So Donovan Mitchell for me, yeah. I know No Spider said he isn't a winning player. He doesn't think his playoff pedigree is that good.
And he's not wrong. He's not wrong.
He's definitely not wrong. But I think, like I said, like you, and you're fair with Julius Randle, and I'm a Julius Randle guy. But you know what? Past is the past. Let's see what they got this year. And if it's Randle in the playoffs, like you said, he needs to perform. If Donovan Mitchell, by our wishes, comes here, he has to perform in the playoffs.
Oh yeah,
100% agree with that. But I would bring Donovan over, and if you can get rid of the expiring contract, Fournier, some draft picks. My move, under the radar move, would be Dejounte Murray with Clint Capella. You kill 2 birds with 1 stone. You get your star player, and you get your backup center in Clint Capella, or you can start Clint Capella and bring Hartenstein off the bench. And that would be my under the radar move. But want to get some final thoughts in, Kurt? A nice Knicks show tonight.
Yeah, great Nick show. We're going to be doing this more often. Plus, we're also going to be doing some shorts. I know I'm going to do a short tomorrow, just a little update on the Sixer game, Nick game. But hey, we got to love where we're at, Kenny, and the next move or the next two moves, all right, whether it's, and I agree with Mark, let's do it now, right? Let's do it now. But we can't give up. I think we have one huge move left. Okay, maybe two. If you talk about, just say Randall goes, say you go Randall for Zion, somehow it picks and you get Donovan Mitchell. That's two huge. That's two huge moves, right? I think we can do that. We could still do that. We could still go get two more. But I also think we have one big guy, one big one, and then maybe like Jordan Clarkson, a Brogdon, So again, I think though, Kenny, like we keep waiting. I think that move has to happen by this summer. We can't force anybody right now. Trade Murray, trade Mitchell. But this summer, the move has to be made, right? Because the East, you got Milwaukee and hey, Giannis and what's his name? Lillard with Middleton. That's a great 1, 2, 3. They're champions over there. Boston, we match up good with Boston, but still, they're probably still a little better. Philly with Embiid and Maxey. I don't know. I wouldn't listen. Embiid's a problem, but I wouldn't go say we couldn't beat them in a 7-game series. Miami's always going to be tough for us, but we're right there. And if you could go get that guy to compete with them right now, you can win the East, Kenny. We were 2 games away from an Eastern Conference Finals last year, and you got better. We're right there. We're right there. So, if it's not this year by the trade deadline, it has to be in the summer. It has to be, the assets, like you keep holding on, but if eventually you're going to have to start using them. So, let's go make that move, Leon. Let's go get it. Go get me that 2 guard. Go get me Murray. Go get me Murray.
Rome wasn't
Mitchell,
built.
and let's go.
Rome wasn't built in a day, everybody. But you know what? Rome's getting close to being built. Okay, it's taken a while, but it's getting there, Kurt. It's almost built, and I'll say that because last 2 weeks, this is even before the trade, we beat the Bucks. Then after the trade, we just beat the Timberwolves, who were the best team in the West, and we beat the Bulls. So take away the Bulls game, you beat 2 of the top teams in the NBA
right
in the last 2 weeks.
Yep.
We match up amazingly well against the Celtics, and now with a newbie, he's going to give Tatum fits. And we match up already good with the Celtics. Okay, now you just got to match up good against the Sixers, and I like my chances in a 7-game series against any of them teams. We've showed we can beat these teams. Yep. Okay. I want to go out and beat the Sixers. That's the next one. And I'll have confidence that we can play well, even with this roster right now in the playoffs. But I want to see one more move, if not 2. And, one big one under the radar one. And let's get into 2024 postseason and make a splash. Make a splash by the deadline, Leon. Let's go, Knicks. Go New York, go New York, go. Thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight.
And make sure you
some
follow
old friends,
us.
some new friends.
Yep. And make sure you follow us because we will be doing this more.
Jody, Keith, Trevor, Denver Bronco Roundup, Mark, new guy, our new friend, DBG. I know you're a Raptor fan. Welcome over here anytime. Yep. We welcome Raptor fans with us. Great having you, and good luck to your Raptors this year, and good luck to RJ Barrett and Emmanuel Quickly, two very good Knicks that I'll root for on the Raptors. So to do well. But thank you, everybody.
Mr. Kirkpatrick, have a good night. Go New York, go.